Tell her you said hi. Even though she's done now, she's not done. She's sticking around. You'd think she'd want to be done, you know?
Just so that you know, Mike Jeff is against selling meat and
Just show mine.
all that.
You don't need any of that.
Yeah, she used to just use it for people to store like clothes and antique. It looks like it's pretty good. Because I think I know the man. He was his kids. I'm not that curious, I just happened to be driving by his and she's that the old board builder, Lou Ann Kenny owns it. I did by old Charlie's.
Last year they had a sale, so they sold after that.
Yeah, it was all lit up yesterday, and it looked like they were tearing stuff out of there.
If anything, we'll be able to check. I'll do it after.
It's no big deal, I just curious that Ray just died, her brother, I mean, she's probably near 90, I don't even know if she's still alive, I probably still alive. I don't know if she's sober or. No big deal. Kenny owns it by old Charlie. I went by the last night about 7:30. There's lights on in there. It looked like we were working in there. You tell the man is right behind those condos. We'll see if there's a permit out there. Or if I don't need a permit.
We're going to ask for just to continue for 1 month.
Okay. You still,
He's
sure there's no issues?
Yeah,
Right.
vote something on the agenda.
That's fine.
This elect-
We'll, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So we got a couple.
So I can take time.
Anything?
You set, Mike?
Yep. Good to go.
Okay, the meeting will please come to order. This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of the city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of this board is final. In respect, it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Ms. Secretary, call the bowl, please.
Mr. Ferguson? Mr. Alessio?
Here.
Mr. McCauley?
Here.
Ms. Powers? Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Thompson? Mr. Hennessy?
Here.
Mr. Chair, in terms of the agenda, I'm not aware of any changes to the order of the agenda, so we'll just proceed. You have the third item on your agenda is the approval of the minutes. Actually, before you do that, I'll make a few announcements just in case we don't sit through the whole meeting. There are 3 cases that are going to be tabled today, and I'll run through those for the benefit of the folks in the audience.
Okay.
The first case, we just received, we have on your dais, a request to table the first petition, 5A, under old business. That's the special use permit to allow continuation of a truck repair facility located at 259 Republic Avenue. There is a request on the table to table that to the June meeting. Then you also have a request to table petition number 2019-16, 2019-17, that's to amend an existing special use permit to allow outdoor storage units as part of the existing mini storage facility located at 305 South Larkin Avenue. That will be tabled until the June 2019 meeting. And then you have one item withdrawn from the agenda, and that is item 7C under new business. That was a request for a series of variations related to the Gray Wall Club subdivision. That petition has actually been withdrawn, so those three cases will not be heard today if anyone is in the audience for those. And with that, the next item, first item of order is the item 3, approval of the April 18th, 2019 Zoning Board of Appeals minutes.
Motion be in order to approve those.
Motion approved.
Second.
Pull the board.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is, that'll be next, right after this, Mike. There's a request to table, there's a request from one of the petitioners here to, before we get to that item on the agenda, to actually formally table the two cases. So if you want to make a motion, if someone can make a motion, if you want to take this out of order, first request would be to table the outdoor storage petition 7D, petition 2019-17, to amend the existing special use permit. That is a request to table to the June 2019 meeting.
That's Joliet Investment Partners.
Motion to table. Second.
Pull the board.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye.
So that motion passed, and that'll be tabled. So getting back to the next item on the agenda is our standard citizens to be heard on agenda items. And this is a section for anyone wanting to speak on items that are listed on the agenda today but not listed as a public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak on any non-public hearing items? Seeing none, the next item, Mr. Chair, is old business. And this was a public hearing for a special use permit to allow continuation of a truck repair facility located at 259 Republic. Again, there is a request on the dais today that be tabled to the June meeting, and a motion would be in order.
Motion to table. Second.
We have motion second to table. Pull the board.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Now, our next motion should be to adjourn. We got anything left? Aye.
And so the next item on the agenda is item 6, old business. For items not having a public hearing, there are no items. Item 7 on your agenda is new business requiring a public hearing. And the first case is item A, petition 2019-14, a special use permit to allow the installation of an electric security fence as an accessory use for the existing business located at 1965 Terminal Court. And I'll quickly summarize the report, and I see that we have representative from for the petitioner here today. This request is, the applicant is Electric Guard Dog LLC, represented by Cindy Williams. The owner of the property is Centerpoint Properties Trust, located at 1965 Terminal Court. And the request is for a special use permit to allow the installation of an electric security fence as an accessory use for the existing business. As per the applicable zoning code, section 47.14.2A, subpart K, special uses in all industrial districts, electric fences may be allowed as a special use by the mayor and council with the advice of the zoning board in accordance with that section 47-5.2. Under site-specific information, the site is owned and operated by FedEx Freight. The 56-acre site is one of their Chicago area distribution centers. The site was once part of the large Caterpillar plant, which was subdivided in the mid-2000s to create 14 industrial lots. The current zoning of the property is I-2 General Industrial District. This petition was filed on April 8th of 2019. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character are as follows. To the north and to the east is zoned I-2 General Industrial. To the south is the Des Plaines River, and to the west is Commercial Zone B3. Applicable regulations are as noted in the report. And again, this is a request to allow installation of a 10-foot high electric security fence as an accessory use for the existing FedEx freight yard and logistics facility. FedEx occupies the existing 56-acre subject site. In an effort to better secure their property, FedEx would like to install an electric fence around the property. A site plan is attached that illustrates the location of the existing 8-foot high fence and the proposed location of the 10-foot high electric fence, which is located 12 inches inside the existing fence. Again, the existing 8-foot chain link fence will remain. The city recently enacted an ordinance to allow electric fences as part of an approved special use permit when meeting the criteria outlined in section 47.14.2AK, which is attached to your packet. The attached site plan notes illustrate that the criteria of the ordinance will be met. The approval of the special use permit subject to the above criteria should not alter the essential character of the area, and should the board choose to approve this special use permit, staff would recommend 2 conditions as follows. 1, that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and a possible revocation of the special use permit. And 2, that the special use permit granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit, in this case a fence permit and electrical permit, is obtained not later than 180 days from the effective date of the ordinance. I won't read the rest of that, but it's a standard condition that we place in the packet. And that concludes staff's report.
Mr. President. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Your name and address.
Cindy Williams, 550 Assembly Street, Columbia, South Carolina.
This is your 3rd trip here.
No, it's my
You ought to give up your
many
salary
more than
and get
3
paid by
trips.
the
So my
mile.
3rd case in front of you. Yes, it is.
Okay, what do you have to say about this fence?
First, I apologize for my cough, and I'm sorry if I've interrupted your meeting. This is the FedEx facility, which is really the genesis of the beginnings of why we implemented the text amendment. They were the ones that came forth really needing this fence. FedEx has submitted a letter during the text amendment process. They submitted a letter that's probably in the files of the text amendment that just states that their firsthand, I'm just kind of reading the last paragraph of it. We have experienced firsthand the positive impact of electric guard dog electric fences and how successfully they secure our properties while minimally impacting our operations and the local surrounding communities where we reside. This is just practice that FedEx does at most of their facilities around the country. It's just part of their security protocol. And I'm not going to belabor. I believe you're familiar with the workings of the fence, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Work. Does anybody on the board have any comments? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you. See you next month.
The next item on your agenda, Mr. Chair, is petition 2019-15. This is a special exception to allow the temporary sale of frozen meats in a parking lot from a refrigerated truck located at 3340 Mall Loop Drive. The applicant is Good Ranchers LLC, represented by Ben Spell, and the owner of the property, who I believe the management of the mall is here today, representing Star West Louis Joliet LLC. This is a request to allow a temporary use essentially for a promotional sale from a refrigerated truck located within the mall parking lot as noted on your screen. Nearest the theater and the rear of the JCPenney building. The ZBA makes the final decision for this type of a request. The proposed sale area will be located near the Cinemark Theater Complex at the Louis Joliet Mall, just off of the Ring Road. The current zoning of the mall property is B2 Central Business District. This petition was filed on April 12th of this year. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character are commercial in all directions, B2 Central Business District. Applicable regulations are as noted in the report. Special exceptions, we don't see these very often, but there is a provision in the zoning ordinance, section 47-19.6, subpart 2, that says for special exceptions, in addition to permitting the special exceptions otherwise specified in the zoning ordinance, the zoning board shall have the authority to permit the following. And the first provision states the temporary use of a building or premises in any district for a purpose of use that does not conform to the regulations, provided that such use be of true temporary nature and does not involve the erection of substantial buildings. You'll see in the report the references to the code sections. The reason that this is before you is that the zoning ordinance in the parking regulations does not allow business sales from a parking space. So this is a request to temporarily allow that activity. The applicant, Good Ranchers LLC, seeks this special exception to allow the temporary sale of prepackaged frozen USDA beef and chicken from a refrigerated truck in a parking lot at the Louis Joliet Mall. And again, the zoning ordinance prohibits this from a parking lot. The granting of a special exception would allow the temporary sale of frozen meats. The sale area will utilize approximately 6 parking stalls for the refrigerated truck, which will leave the property each night. And then there would be a canopy over the tables, some benches, and some potted plants. An additional 6 parking spaces will be designated for customer parking. A site plan is attached, and photos, I think, from another location in our area here that demonstrate how the site will be set up are included in the application packet. The sale area will not obstruct circulation within the mall parking area, and this has been made a condition of approval. Good Ranchers intends to have an informational kiosk in the mall to publicize the meat sale. The sale will start May 23rd of 2019 and end July 1st of 2019, and their business license application is attached. If the zoning board chooses to approve this special exception for the temporary sale of frozen meats in a parking lot, it is recommended that the following conditions would be included. 1, that the special exception shall be granted for the following time period of May 23rd through July 1st, 2019. And 2, that the truck, tents, and associated equipment not impede or obstruct circulation in the parking lot. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Petitioner present? Let's swear you in, sir. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Eric Lola. I'm the general manager of Louis Joliet Mall at 3340 Mall Loop Drive here in Joliet.
Okay, I think we know what you're going to be doing. Is there anything you'd like us to know?
This is a deal that we started talking about last year, and I was in conversation with Mr. Schwartz beginning last year about bringing this event to Louis Joliet Mall. We weren't able to do it last year. Instead, they went up to the street to our sister center, the Promenade Bolingbrook, and did conduct one of these sales. The photographs that you're looking at in the packet are actually from Willow Bend, one of the centers that Starwood has in Plano, Texas. I asked my contact at Good Ranchers if they could just give me a list of how many of these sales they've done at malls, and he provided me with a list of 54 that they had done between last year and under contract for this year, including 20 in Texas, 10 in Tennessee, 10 in North Carolina, 4 in Colorado, 3 in Utah, and 2 in Oklahoma. Here in Illinois, between Promenade Bolingbrook, Woodfield in Schaumburg, Fox Valley in Aurora, Spring Hill in West Dundee, and Gurney Mills. Actually, what you see with the potted plants and the benches is something that we require that they do, because we want this to appear, we just want it to look nice, not just to be a truck in the parking lot selling meat. The location that we picked on the back side of the property, after speaking with Mr. Schwartz and Mr. Jackson, was intentional in that it is not visible from any of the public streets, whether it be Route 30, Malu Drive, or Hennepin. It's entirely surrounded by private property, including the ring road, which is ours.
Is this the only sales program you guys have, or do you sell out of stores, or is all the sales like this on the outside?
So this is part of our short-term leasing program. We have longer-term leases, which could be up to 10 years, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And then we have a short-term leasing program where we look to bring in unique uses to the property. Everyone is quite familiar with the mall model isn't operating the same way it did 40, going on 41 years ago when the mall opened. So we look to do different and unique things. And this is something that we've come across, that we've been successful with at some of our other properties, and as I noted it through my list here, it's been successful at other properties.
Are you similar to the operation of like Omaha Steaks?
Am I familiar with it?
Are you in competition with them, or is it the same basic thing as Omaha Steaks? They advertise all over the place.
I think so. In that, I think I manage the mall, so I'm personally not in that business, but I think there's some similarity to it, yes. This is the idea, you can see on there that they're advertising 20 ribeyes for $29. That's sort of their base package, and then they look to upsell you into cases full of meat that,
Will you be doing this every year here now, or?
No, this is the first time we would be doing this. We did it at our sister center in Bolingbrook last summer, but now we're looking to bring it here as just a unique use for this short, temporary period of time. They've applied for their business license, their health department permit, they've applied for their tent permit, and we have as Mike said, we have the 2 deals fully executed in place for the cart inside the mall, so that customers that perhaps parked on the other side of the mall, they're in the mall, they can walk by and they can see that this is an opportunity, a unique use that's available for them.
I hope you have better weather than we're having today.
That's for
Any
sure.
comments by the board?
Is there anyone here from the company themselves that could answer questions, other than you're from the mall but not from
I'm
the
from
company?
the mall. They're from Texas, so they are not here this week.
Well, the past one, we had them come in from North Carolina,
Yeah.
so I think a representative from Texas should have been here to answer any questions we may have to them as far as their food quality and so forth.
As I think Mr. Schwartz read in the staff report, it is USDA approved meat.
But
Not from China, I hope.
No.
But I'm sure they didn't bring this truck all the way from Texas. Where's their warehouse at where they store this meat? What kind of backup do they have if the generator goes out in the truck?
So the truck is, the truck, and I'll point out too, that the truck is not staying in the parking lot overnight. It's just coming in during the day, and then they leave at night. And I think how they do it is that they have a way to deliver the product. So if they're here for over a month, and if business is good, I would expect that small truck, they might
We have
empty it out.
control over the quality of the meat. That would be the county health department, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
City doesn't have any.
these are prepackaged food. They're not, the health department permit is necessary because I believe what they look at is temperature of, things that, the temperature of the meat, the refrigeration. But this is prepackaged. They're not serving anything here.
Are these basically frozen foods, or are they?
Yes, it's all frozen. It's all frozen and then shipped, and it's kept frozen. Actually, there was 2 receipts that they had provided me, one for $60 and then another one from the health department for $120. And I asked, why was there 2? And the response was that they made us pay an upgrade for risk level of handling frozen food. So the health department is monitoring that. And as I indicated, they've got a reputation to maintain. of, doing these all over the country. And, in the mall industry, we all talk to each other. And so if things were going off the rails, so to speak, at these other properties, we would know it and we wouldn't be doing it.
Anything else?
Is this gonna carry on to other businesses wanting to be out in the mall parking lot instead of opening up a business in Joliet area? Because we've got vendors out in the parking lot like a flea market.
No, we don't want, we do occasionally. This is one exception here, and this is why we've gone through this process, because we believe that this is a reputable company for us to do business with, because we have done it before. I mean, this property down in Texas is one that, when we acquired it, it had, several vacancies, and we've been investing a lot into that property in that market. So, we are only partnering with this company because they have a good reputation. But as far as other things to do in the parking lot, the only other thing we've had a carnival every year. We just had that this past weekend. We do that in the parking lot. And I think in 2015, we had the Spirit Halloween sale in a tent in the parking lot. But they're affiliated with Spencer Gift. It's a sister company, which is already a tenant inside the mall. But otherwise, no, we don't. We talk about possibly at some point in the future maybe doing some sort of a farmer's market in the parking lot. If we come to that point, then, as needed, we'll be back in front of this board.
Any other questions? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes the petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny. I'd hate to see this starting in Joliet to where we're gonna start seeing it on Jefferson Street or any of our other major streets, to where we have more of a flea market atmosphere than a business atmosphere.
May I speak?
Go ahead.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. Both times I ever bought meat out of the back of a truck, I got scared. So I'm gonna vote to deny it.
We have a motion and a second to deny the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
No.
Mr. Briggs?
Aye to deny.
Well, yeah, that's I to
Right.
deny, right?
Yeah.
Or is it, I just said no, that meant I want to know.
So you have 3 no's so far.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to make a couple comments. I was on the city council when we annexed and developed that mall. In fact, I was on the real estate committee that helped us get out there to zone it. Things have changed since that time. I know you're having some economic problems out there with your anchor stores dropping out and that you're looking for extra income.
Absolutely.
I'm not so certain that this particular thing offends me in any way, but I kind of have sympathy for you and your situation, looking for ways to get more income. And the petition's lost. I mean, I'm going to vote with the majority with mixed emotions, so I vote aye. Sorry. Motion denied.
So that is a unanimous 4-0 vote. And this is the, in a special exception, is only heard here by the zoning board.
That's the final decision,
There's a
yeah.
final decision on that, so.
Let's move on.
The next item on your agenda is a petition. We've already mentioned that petition 2019-16 was the variations related to the Gray Wall Club. That has been withdrawn, if anybody's here for that. And also the following petition 2019-17, item D, was 305 South Larkin Avenue, that to amend the special use for outdoor storage. That has been tabled to the June meeting. We are now on petition 2019-18, a special use permit to allow tire installation and repair as part of a proposed tire sales facility located at 2526 West Jefferson Street. The applicant in this case is Chris Enright of Christopher Enright Architects, and I believe he's here. And the owner of the property is Menards Incorporated Properties Division, Tim Enyart. I believe you're Chris. So we have a representative here for that case. It's a special use permit to allow construction of a tire repair facility on one of the vacant Menards Walmart shopping center outlots. As per the applicable zoning code section 47.13.2A subpart G, special uses in the B3 General Business District, automobile establishments for minor repair may be allowed as special uses by the mayor and city council with the advice of the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with section 47-5.2. Under site-specific information, the area of this site was originally annexed and zoned B3 in 1970. It was the site of the former Jefferson Square Mall and Wilderness Mall, which was demolished in 2005. The 1.4-acre subject site was part of lots 7 and 8 in the Menards Joliet subdivision, which was approved and recorded in June 2003. A re-subdivision of lots 7 and 8 are proceeding through the Plan Commission concurrently with this special use permit request in order to accommodate the Bell Tire proposal. And that attached plat of re-subdivision is in your packet. Access to the site will be achieved through existing curb cuts on Jefferson Street, Caterpillar Drive, and Joyce Road, and private drives protected by access easements. This application was submitted on April 12th. Surrounding zoning and land use include commercial B3 to the north and to the east. To the south is commercial but zoned I1, and to the west is undeveloped zoned B3. Applicable regulations are as noted in the report. Under discussion, the petitioner is requesting a special use permit in order to construct a new Bell Tire facility along the Jefferson Street corridor. Bell Tire installs tires and parts related to tires and wheels, as well as doing other minor automotive repair. The new 10,000 square foot building will be constructed with brick veneer, exterior insulation finishing system or EIFS material, and a metal seam roof, and there are elevations in your packet. It will be located on site so that 8 bay doors will face north toward the Advanced Auto Parts building, and 2 bay doors will face west that will be utilized for alignments whereby pneumatic tools are not used as frequently as the other bays. In addition to the proposed site layout, the distance from adjacent residential units, Inwood Terrace, is approximately 400 feet away, which more than meets the 100-foot spacing requirement established in the zoning code. According to the petitioner, the business generates very low traffic volume. The business operation closes by 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and is closed entirely on Sundays. Deliveries are limited to once or twice weekly and last approximately 30 minutes. The proposal for 30 off-street parking spaces and 10 service bays are adequate and meet the parking regulations for this type of use. The petitioner has submitted a sound study, which is attached to your packet, of a previous proposal from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, that was within 100 feet of existing residential. The conclusion of that report indicated that the adjacent road noise generates the same volume of noise as the facility. With that understanding and the increased distance of the proposed facility in Joliet to 400 feet, it is expected that the Caterpillar Drive traffic noise will generate higher volumes of noise than the proposed facility due to its closer proximity. In addition, landscaping will be installed around the perimeter of the lot that complies with the City of Joliet landscape ordinance for further buffering. If the zoning board desires to approve this special use permit, the following conditions would be included. 1, that a landscaping plan be submitted and approved that meets the requirements of the city's landscape ordinance. 2, that the special use permit granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of the ordinance. I won't read the rest, but that is a standard condition. And item 3, or condition 3, that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use. And the only thing I will add is that it was brought to our attention that the elevations that were submitted in your packet may have a few minor corrections. The directions of each elevation are correct on sheet 201, but the other sheets, I think, incorrectly may identify the elevation. So
Okay, those will be corrected before.
those would be, the architect would need to correct those before we send those to the city council for a vote.
Okay.
And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner present. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Name and address, please.
Christopher Enright, 628 Parent Street, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073.
Go ahead.
I am the architect representing Bell Tire. Bell Tire is a company that is headquartered in near the Detroit, Michigan area. Currently, we've been developing stores in central Indiana, around Indianapolis. This will be the first store in Illinois. Excuse me. This will be approximately the 151st, 152nd store within the chain. Bell Tire is a family-owned business, wholly owned by 2 individuals. And as indicated in the staff report, we sell tires, miscellaneous auto parts that are to be installed on the vehicles in the service bays. Customers come in towards the front of the building, which in this case would be the east side of the building. There's a showroom where business is conducted with Bell Tire staff. Vehicles are then brought into the facility, provided that parts or tires are to be installed in the vehicles by Bell Tire staff. No customers go into the service area. All of the parts, tires, and products to be installed in the car are either on display in the showroom or warehoused on the interior of the building, including the scrap tires, which are installed in a specific area in the interior of the building. Scrap tires are picked up by Bell Tire vehicles on a weekly basis or as needed basis. Deliveries to the facility are approximately twice a week, depending on demand, and are done during business hours. As indicated, the building is entirely made of brick, cast stone, clear glass, standing seam metal with the EIFS band going around the exterior of the building. There's no exterior storage, display, and vehicles are not left overnight if there's service that's to be required.
That's it. Any comments by the board? Questions? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes. Nobody even here from National Tire Rental, or nobody to oppose you. Chair closes the petition and asks the board for discussion and a motion. Come on, Jim.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Congratulations.
The last item under new business, Mr. Chair, is petition 2019-19. The petition applicant is Schelling Development Corporation. Owner of the property is Elks Lodge 296. This is located at 250 Southeast Frontage Road. It's a request for a special use permit to allow a mini self-storage facility building located at 250 Southeast Frontage Road. This type of request must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the Zoning Board. The property in question is the former Elks Motel, which is adjacent to the active Elks Lodge 296. The property is 5.46 acres in size. Current zoning of the property is B3 General Business District. The petition was filed on April 12th of 2019. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character are as follows. To the north is I-55 interchange. To the east is residential, the Timber Oak subdivision, which is zoned R4 multifamily. To the south is also residential, Timber Oak subdivision, zoned R4 multifamily. And to the west is Interstate I-55. Applicable regulations are as noted in your report. And under discussion, the applicant would like to adapt the 14,000 square foot former Elks Motel, which is now vacant, into a self-storage facility with 107 self-storage units and a front office. as per the applicable zoning code, section 47.13.2A, subpart 1, special uses in the B3 General Business District, mini warehouses and indoor storage facilities may be allowed as special uses by the mayor and council with the advice of the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with section 47-5.2. The remodeled building will meet the city's non-residential design standards with new face brick and concrete panels. Approximately 1/3 of the units will have direct exterior access, while the remaining units will be accessed through an interior corridor. The applicant intends to have the facility open 24 hours a day. There will be no outside storage of any kind. The property has existing landscaping that remains in good condition. The business will install a black aluminum fence along the front of the building at the southwest corner of the parking lot, and a black chain link fence along the south side and rear east side of the former parking lot. A proposed site plan and building elevations are attached in your packet. And as far as conditions, should the board choose to approve this special use permit, staff recommends the following conditions be included. 1, that the existing parking lot shall be seal coated and restriped prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 2, that outdoor storage shall be prohibited. 3, that fencing along the southwest, south, and rear elevations shall be installed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Fencing along the front elevation shall be black aluminum, and fencing along the south and rear elevations shall be black chain link. 4, that the dumpster shall be screened by a 6-foot solid fence with a locking gate prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 5, that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and a possible revocation of the special use permit. And 6, that the special use granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of the ordinance. And I will not again read the rest of that standard condition, but that concludes staff's report.
Figured it had to be you two. Both gonna talk? Just both swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Names and addresses.
Ron Schelling, 24523 Brittany, Plainfield, 60544.
Into the mic, sir.
Dave
Lift it up if you
Kessler,
have to.
1619 Manhattan Road, Joliet.
Thank you. Any comments you'd like to make?
Well, the motel currently has been dormant for the last few years, and the structural part of the building is still sound, very sound, and we feel that converting this to the self-storage facility will take a building that is no longer being used and create something that's usable. We plan on marketing to the locals in the housing projects right in the area. Again, it's not a real large facility, so we feel that there's a need locally right there for this.
Have you got any background in this, or do you have other locations?
I have no other self-storage background, but I've done numerous developments in Joliet,
Okay.
both residential and office, retail.
Well, I remember the old Elks Club used to be downtown Joliet. Had a bowling alley, if I remember.
That originally used to be the Rossi Motel.
Yeah. We're also creating some revenue for the Elks, which
They probably
could use the additional revenue.
Okay, any questions?
Are you going in as partners?
Yes,
Because we're partners.
And you have a background in storage,
Yes, I
aren't
do.
you?
I actually have a storage
So-
unit on my property where I actually have 15 storage unit
And that's been for how many years now?
since 95.
Okay.
I've been,
What's the big demand for this? Because I noticed that big storage place down there by Sam's Club, they initially came in with no outside storage units. Now they're asked for an expansion into that. Is there something going on economically I'm not aware of? Or?
Well, I think the millennials today a lot of them are living in apartments and not living in a house with a lot, and I think the that alone is helping the market for this type of thing.
Gee, I'm kind of grateful. That makes me a millennial. I thought I was too old to be one. I made it. Okay. Any other questions by the board? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? You don't want to say anything? It's our new council lady. Welcome. Anyone opposed? Anyone for? Chair closes the petition on the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. McCauley?
Aye.
Mr. Briggs?
Aye.
Mr. Alessio?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Commissioners,
Yes, that's
thank you very
good.
much.
Next item on your agenda is new business not requiring public hearing, and there are no items, so we move to public comments. This is a section for anyone to make public comments. There is no one, I believe, here to make, unless, Councilwoman, would you like to make any remarks? So with that, the last item is for adjournment.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.